Hey, everybody, it's Christy Whitman. I am so excited to invite you to the Desire Factor podcast. And I am so deeply excited to introduce you to one of my favorite people, one of my favorite clients. It has been just an honor to watch you grow and expand and achieve. And I'm just thrilled. So thank you for being here, Alla.
Well, thank you, Christy. This is such an honor to be here and be invited to your podcast and be in your presence without other people. I don't consider you don't consider myself your client. I'm considering myself your student.
Okay.
And just want to tell you how much I learned from you over the years.
Thank you.
I started so many years ago that you have a special folder in my emails. It goes Christy Courses. And I've been putting away your all the wisdom that I learned from you, all the classes and meditations. They are all stored there. So I'm your student.
Beautiful. I love that. I love that perspective. Thank you, Alla. Well, I would love for you to share your story. Where were you? Where did you come? How did we connect? And, it's great to share some nuggets and things that you've maybe learned along the way that really were a big aha for you, that were a big shift. And because that's way, everybody that's listening can take that information and they can also learn, or they can relearn, or sometimes just remember what they already knew. So I'd love for you to share where you were. And, now you're a two-time author and you've got beautiful awards for your book. So it's amazing to see where you were and where you are now. So I'd love for you to share your journey.
Well, thank you. I immigrated to the United States a little over 30 years ago. I had to learn how to speak English, how to express myself, how to drive a car.
Tell them how you learned how to speak English. I just love this because you and I have a little bit of that in common. So share that with them.
Well, I learned English by watching all my children, by watching daytime TV, and by working with children at the daycare as a school teacher, preschool teacher. So children are in my life forever because I've always worked with children. I was a school teacher when I was in the Soviet Union. I guess that's my path. And watching all my children for 18 years, videotaping it, coming home from work, putting the cassette in and rewinding, and this is how I learned how to express myself. I learned a lot of new words. So
I bet you did. I'm just envisioning you watching this theatrical drama and someone slapping someone over across the face, and all the different things that happen in a soap opera drama. And you're such not a drama person. So interesting that you learn that from a soap opera. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. But I was very creative by watching all my children. As I said, learning new words, stopping, writing down, going to the dictionary, and remembering those words. So that was my process of learning, of acculturation, and of learning how to speak, and then how to express myself. So I think it was a very interesting success story.
Oh, for sure.
Due to Erica Kane and Adam Chandler and other people.
Thanks, Adam Sandler. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Well, when I was living in Montreal and I didn't speak French at all, I had a hard time learning French. And one day there was a song from Beyonce that came on the radio, and it was to the left, all your things in a box to the left. And so I asked Frederick, I said, what's to the left? And he said, à la gauche. And so I started putting it to music, à la gauche, à la gauche. And then I asked him, well, what's to the right? And he said, à la droite. So then it was like, à la droite, à la droite. And so there were different songs that I would ask him, what is that song lyric? And how do I say it in French? And so there are certain songs when I hear to this day that I pick up the French and I still remember. So it's beautiful how you got so creative and you were so dedicated. And that's one of the things that I have absolutely loved about you as my student all these years, because you are so dedicated. You take the information, you live it, you process it, like you were doing all those years ago by dedicating yourself to recording it, to listening to it, to pausing it when you didn't understand a word, and then going and taking that extra step to look into the dictionary and finding what that word meant. I mean, that it just really shows the type of dedication that you have to learning, to expanding yourself, to growth, and now to serving. So I just love what you are doing. You have so many different facets of how you support and help people in light. And I would love for you to share that. How did you get from, I'm in all my children, I've taken some courses, and now I'm giving light service?
Interesting when you were saying, well, thank you for sharing your learning experience with French. Interesting. Yes, there is a lot of similarity. When I started working with children, when I came to the United States, I remember one of the kids asked me one day, he said, Alla, he was about 5. His name was Brian. He said, Alla, you don't speak English, do you? And I said, yeah, just a little bit. So that kind of really made me forced me to become more understandable. And that's why I always strive to be as deliberate with my words as I could possibly can and could. And I'm still working on it. It's a lifelong process that will end one day. But I appreciate every step. So when you ask me, how did it start? One day I attended a open house. And that was an open house for school in marriage and family therapy. And I looked at the video and I thought, and they showed the therapy session. And I said, oh my God, that's what I've been doing since I was in high school. I was telling people, I was counseling people. I just did not know what I was doing. I was just counseling people naturally. I was in service then. And so I went to the School of Marriage and Family Therapy. I got my master's degree in marriage and family therapy. Later on, I got licensed as a marriage and family therapist. And then later on, I became a certified hypnotherapist. So I learned hypnotherapy tools. And then on my path, there was a school of spiritual psychology. So in the 2000, I entered that school and became my own therapist, and I received master's in spiritual psychology. And a few years later, I met you via some kind of email came to me. I can't remember from whom. I clicked, I listened to your meditation, and I remember listening to, probably it was around New Year when you invited everybody for a New Year meditation. I think this is how it started, but I don't remember, was it 2012, 2013, whatever year it was. So ever since, I signed up for your Vice Freedom program, and the rest was history.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So we've gone back a lot of years. What's one of the things that for you was the biggest thing because I know for many, many years, you had lots of different ahas and lots of different shifts. But can you share maybe what's one of the things that you really took in, you brought it as your own, you expanded yourself, and maybe led to the success that you have today?
There are so many things I can talk about. I think that mostly what attracted me to become your student is your sincerity, your generosity, and how you share yourself.
Thank you.
That was really very important to me. How you were not afraid to share yourself, how you were always ready with a example from your life, how open you were and you are with people who you don't even see. But I think that was one of my takeaway from you.
Beautiful. And do you apply that in your own processing
Yes.
now? Yes. Beautiful.
Yes.
I love that. So let's talk about your new book, because I want everybody to be able to go and, you know, buy it, be able to just feel the energy of it, to be able to feel the wisdom. So tell us how and if you don't mind, you had written a book, done really well with it. So proud of you. And then we were working together intimately with the council through Sacred Circle of Light. And your biggest thing, your biggest intention was to have inspiration, right? To be inspired to continue to do your work and to write another book.
Yes.
And then here it comes. So tell everybody about your new book.
Well, my first book, it's so funny to say my first book.
That's so amazing.
My first book came to me funny in the meditation. I was in my yoga class and meditation, and I knew I wanted to write a book. I just did not know what I was going to write about. And in meditation, I got a download, literally, with the name of the book, with the color of the cover, book cover, and the table of content. I guess all the work that I was doing before prepared me for this moment. Obviously, I was very interested in past lives ever since I've heard Brian Weiss. And when he was introducing his book, Through Time into Healing, and I was amazed by the connections I was able to make as I was listening to him. So I read Sylvia Brown, I read Brian Weiss, all his books. I read so many other people. So, and then being at USM, University of Santa Monica, also because we work on those issues, helped me to identify my past lives. And I guess that led me to that download with all the chapters, how it all came about. And then I started writing little by little. But it was amazing how many connections I was able to make through writing about how I connected my dog that was my horse before in a past life, how I connected me, I don't like to walk barefoot, and I connected it with a past life. So there are so many connections that otherwise I would not be able to find out. And the healing that happened, my back pain, that was connected to past lives, more than one.
Amazing. So you're using the energy of now to heal things of the past.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes, because we come with cell memory and everything is stored. What we came with cell memory, once we release it, it leads us to get more light. That's what we're here for. So we release
the pain
that
body,
memory, and we get light instead.
Release the pain body and bring in the light body. Exactly. And in many ways of doing that, many different, some people have tapping, some people have hypnotherapy, some people work with counsel, some people do just different, different Reiki. I mean, there's so many different, we're so blessed to be in this day and age because there's so many different modalities. And what you're talking about is from the modality of looking at your past life, working with the energy now and releasing anything that limits you from those past lives. So it's beautiful what you're bringing in and what you're helping people do. So your second book, right? Your second book, talk about what happened with that. It was the same process?
Yes, no, it was a different process. But before I go to the second book, I want to mention something that for me to tap into the past lives that whoever I was before, and I identify 14 past lives, the classes that I took with you on channeling, the self-forgiveness that I learned at USM, how important it is to do self-forgiveness, the Gestalt technique that I learned from USM. All of this helped me to bring this book about, because I had a memory which was a glimpse. It was like a deja vu moment when I walked in Ellis Island, and I started crying, and I did not know why. And then I heard the voice saying, "You were here before." So, and then it was gone. So when I started exploring and writing and channeling the information, that's how this chapter, whoever I was before, came alive, and I was able to heal that part, that
That's
life.
amazing.
And what's amazing also, after I finished writing this, I realized that these lives, my lives, and everybody else's life, deserve respect and deserve to be given a voice. And they all live inside of us. So by doing this, I honored them.
Well, I'm glad you did. It was interesting. I had taken an amazing group of women to Sedona for a energy upgrade retreat. And one of the things that we decided to do, Council and I, is bring all the women into a sweat lodge in Sedona. And very, very respectfully and very with an amazing healer. And I was able to channel the council in the sweat lodge. And before it even started, one of the participants who was sitting next to me just started crying uncontrollably. And I was, just caressing her back and, surrounding her in compassion. I said, "What's coming up for you?" And she said, "I was a witch in Salem in a past life, and I was burned at the stake." So as this healer was preparing right in front of us, the fire to create the sweat lodge, and she was close to it, her cells in her body were shaking. Mm-hmm. And she was able to, in that moment with the processes, and it was so brilliant to be able to witness this, to watch her take the processes that the councils taught her how to, really be able to process the emotions, the fear. There was terror in her eyes. It was real for her. I mean, she was at that stake. They were burning her as a witch in that moment, watching her. And she was reliving that terror and completely released it. And then had a couple of other moments and instances that she was healing and releasing too. And so it was, for her, it was cellular. It was real. And to watch her and witness her release that, I mean, she, on the other side of it, she's more peaceful because she's not carrying that around. So I just thought that was really, really fascinating, and that we're talking about this today. So,
yeah. And I had the same experience in 2002 when I was at USM. I felt that terror because I felt the heat coming from my feet up. So I have a whole chapter on being burned as a witch.
Wow, amazing. I'll have to tell our other student to read that. So beautiful. Awesome.
And now about my second book. Yes. This book was born very interestingly, like other things. I was part of the writing class last year. There is a Wallace Theater in Los Angeles, and they offer a creative agent program. So I was part of this class, and we had to write stories. We had 8 weeks of classes. We had to write stories on the prompts. And there were different prompts, trouble, or I remember, or I came from. And all those stories had to be 300 words or less. So we had a beautiful team of people. Group was wonderful. Everybody was 55 and younger. And we wrote stories. At the end of the class, I said, "Why don't we publish the book?" The psychic of me, "Why don't we publish?" And people said, "Publish?" I said, "Yeah, why not? We already have stories." So yes, and by the end of December, this book was published. It contains 5 people. The most brave one decided to publish the stories, and that's how this book came about. It's a delightful book with people, different experiences, different stories from different points of lives. I remembered my trouble. It was a money trouble. Somebody else remembered the 9/11 trouble when she was on the plane. Somebody else remembered somebody else. But it's a very interesting book. And tomorrow I am graduating the second class. It's called Stage Story 3. And I'm going to be reading the story about my grandmother.
Beautiful. Well, where can everybody get your books?
My books are on Amazon.
And what are the titles of them?
One of them is Turning the Pages. I can show it to you. It's very distinct colors. Turning the Pages.
So for those on the podcast, it's blue and green and gold,
yes.
called Turning the Pages. Okay.
How exploring my past lives led me on a journey of healing memories and what I learned traveling back in time.
Beautiful.
That's the subtitle. And the second book that I co-author, it calls Thursdays at 2. And why Thursdays at 2? It was a very easy title of the book because our class was Thursdays at 2.
That's beautiful. So, I love it. It's like Tuesdays with Maury, right?
Exactly. That's how it was. Thursdays at 2.
Beautiful.
And so, on this Thursday, we're starting a new class. We'll see what happens from that collaboration.
Beautiful. Well, you know what I love about you, Alla, is that you just are constantly in the space of learning, growing, curiosity. You know, you're really connected and aligned with that life force that wants to come through you and express itself. And I just want to honor you for that, because by you showing that you can learn English by being dedicated by learning English, and the way that you went about doing it, it worked for you. So you set yourself up for success. And all of the things that you are doing to allow yourself to continue to align yourself so that you can be creative and that you can be that conduit for the divine. I just want to honor that in you, because you're just amazing. And I just appreciate you. And
thank you. Those are very kind words, and I'm going to take all of them.
Good. I hope you do. And I hope every single one of you go to Amazon, buy Turning the Pages or Thursdays at 2, and you feel as inspired and uplifted as I do by talking with you, Alla. So thank you for being here. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Christy. That's an honor, and it's such an amazing experience to be in your presence and have this interview with you. What a dream come true.
Well, please tell everybody where, if they want to reach out to you, if they've got questions, where can they get in contact with you, dear one?
They can contact me by my email, allakaluzhny@gmail.com.
Okay, spell that out, because you have a different last name. So
Alla, ALLA, KALUZHNY @gmail.com, or they can go on my website, allakaluzhny.com. And they will see my book, and they can order it from the website as well.
Perfect. And we will put links underneath the interview as well, so that you could just click them and easily go there, or you could click it and send Alla a beautiful email. So
thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's such a pleasure.
We love you, and so grateful that you're in our lives. And for each of you that is listening, thank you. It's an honor to be able to be in your journey, whether it's a small part or a large part. Just really grateful. It really is an honor to be part of your process. So thank you all, and we'll see you all soon. Bye, everyone.